right. So let's see if everyone already come back on the breakout room. While we are waiting, can I ask some of the students? Arya, can you hear me? Hi,
Yes,
Arya. Okay. Can you hear
yes,
me clearly?
yes, clear.
Okay. Did you have the opportunity to have introductions with your group? You still remember your friends?
Yes, yes, I have. But actually, I only have one of my friend in the group because two of my group members didn't attend, I think. Didn't attend the
Uh,
Zoom.
okay. So you have one from ITS and another two from SIT, right?
No, all of them from SIT. I'm the only one who are from
Oh, okay. All
ITS.
right. Okay, but you have connected to one of your friends, so I hope you can meet the other two friends later on in the next week, yeah, Arya?
Yeah, hopefully.
All right, so I think we have here already 3:33 p.m. Before we start the sessions, I hope you also get a chance to fill out your twill. So we have here about the curiosity on the first box on your twill. I just want to know if does any one of you already fill that box, the curiosity box? Can you raise your hands if you fill that curiosity box? Maybe Asadel, have you filled the curiosity box?
Yes, I have already filled the curiosity box.
Okay, what do you what things you put on the curiosity box? Can you share with
Uh,
us?
I can share the screen. Or
Oh, you can just say
oh, okay.
to make
I
it
just
easier.
introduce myself to Kogo Yusei and Miku Maimura from SIT. I just introduce myself because I'm from Industrial and System Engineering major in Institute 10 November Institute of Technology, and I'm very happy to meet them from Sibaura Institute of Technology. That's what I put in the curiosity
Okay.
box.
How about the curiosity of the topic? Did you put that as well? Is there any curiosity for the topic regarding the topic?
Maybe for now I still feel that's only. Miss.
Okay. So just to also highlighting for everyone, so the curiosity box on the twill form is the curiosity based on the lecture that you're gonna have after this. So, for example, if we talk about the supply of the energy, for example, what is the curiosity that you want to know about the topic? Okay, so can I ask other maybe SIT or Nihon University students, have you put the curiosity box? The Tayo, have you put the oh, have you put the curiosity box?
Yes, so, but not perfect.
Okay, well, what questions or curiosity you put on that twill?
Uh, my, uh, I, I want to understand the difference in the situation and strategies surrounding energy between Japan and Indonesia.
Okay, okay, thank
Why?
you.
Yes, thank you.
All right, so I hope everyone is also as curious as Tayo, because after this, we're gonna have the sessions about the energy system supply side, both in from Japan side and also from Indonesia side. So from Japan side, we're gonna hear the lecture from Professor Tomoko Iwata. I think the committee you can put the lecture from Iwata about the energy supply side in Japan. So please listen carefully to these informations, and while you are listening, please also don't forget to fill out your twill. So open the twill while you are listening to the lecture sessions. So uh, for committee, you can play the lecture from Professor Iwata. I think the sound is not shared yet.
Hello everyone, I'm Iwata, professor of SIT. So I'd like to have some short lecture about the energy supply in Japan for now. So the contents of this lecture have two parts. The first one is strategy towards a decarbonized society in Japan. And the second one is the difficulties in decarbonizing electricity in Japan. So before the explanation, I would like to have the brief introduction about the impacts of global warming in Japan. So this figure shows the increase in global average annual temperature rise. It's around 0.74 Celsius degree for 100 years past. On the other hand, you can see the Japanese situation. The increase in average annual temperature in Japan is the double score. And because of the global warming and the temperature rise, we have the heavy rainfall. Like this, the number of rainfall has increased significantly in recent years in Japan. So the increase in temperature is affecting Japan through the extreme weather events. So by this heavy rain, the risk of flood and landslide is increasing year by year like this. So nowadays, we are living with the impacts of extreme weather every year. The Japanese government, as a background of the extreme weather, and of course about the Paris Agreement in 2015, the Japanese government declared the carbon neutrality in 2020, like this. And this figure shows the Japanese greenhouse gases emission trend in each sectors. So you can see the industrial sector, transportation sector, commercial sector, and household sector. So all of these four sectors emit greenhouse gases emission like this. But the total greenhouse gases emission is peak in 2013, and after that, the greenhouse gases emission are reducing year by year like this. And our Japanese government declared the carbon neutral society in 2050, and in 2025, in this year actually, in February, the Japanese government published the seventh basic energy plan and set the detailed goal about the carbon reduction ratio in each year. For example, in 2013, the target reduction of greenhouse gases emission is about 46% compared to the peak in 2013, and 60% in 2035, 73% in 2040. So Japanese government sets a goal in the linear reduction line path of this. And not only was the Japanese government, but the Japanese local governments also declare the net zero carbon dioxide emissions by 2050. Actually, the total number of the municipalities in Japan is 1,794 municipalities, but almost all 1,182 municipalities are already declared about their carbon commitments like this. And to achieve the decarbonized society, we have to check the current energy flow in Japan. So this figure shows the energy supply and demand balance in Japan in 2022. And you can see the primary energy in Japan. It's mainly from the fossil fuel. It's around 83%, and about the carbon neutral power supply is only 17% in primary energy. So you can see the fossil fuel, it's the breakdown percentage. You can see the coal 26%, natural gas 22%, and petroleum 36%. So these three natural resources, all of them are imported from other countries. In Japan, we have no this kind of fossil fuel resources. And about the carbon neutral power supply, we have the nuclear energy, it's around 3%, and renewable energy, it's 14%. And half of primary energy input is for consumed as a fuel conversion to produce the fuel and the raw material utilization, such as the gas line production or city gas production. We utilize the primary energy, especially the fossil fuel, to produce these material or these products. So the half of primary energy is for the production of these materials or fuels. And the other half of the primary energy is for producing electricity and heat. However, in the power generation process, the heat loss by power generation is around 28%. So almost half of the input primary energy are lost in the power generation process. So as the end use, the primary energy 100% are reduced to 65% in the end use. And in the end utilization, you can see the industrial sector utilize 30% of primary energy, or commercial sector, transportation sector, residential sector. This one has the 10 to 15% of the total primary energy supply. So here is the energy flow in Japan. So when we think about the decarbonization strategy in Japan, Japanese government set three main strategies. So the top priority of the strategy towards the decarbonized society in Japan is the energy saving strategy on the demand side. It's a top priority for the decarbonization in Japan. And after energy saving, the second priority is the electrification on the demand side. And at the same time, we have to install more about the carbon neutral power supply. So carbon neutral electricity installment is very important at the same time as the electrification on the demand side. However, in the demand side, for example, the plastic raw materials, it cannot be changed to electricity. And also, for example, the aircraft fuel or the ship fuel, this kind of very heavy transportation method cannot be changed to the electric one. So, for example, the electric aircraft is very difficult, actually, in this current technology. So, in some sectors, they still need the fuel, actually. So, they cannot change to the electricity consumption industry. For example, about the iron production industry, they need the very, very high temperature to produce the iron. So this kind of high temperature cannot be produced by electricity only. So they need fuel actually. So as the third priority, Japanese government mentioned about the transition to non-fossil fuel by using green and blue hydrogen. So this is the third priority. So the top priority is energy saving on the demand side. The second priority is also the demand side countermeasure. So after these strategies, the third priority is the hydrogen utilization actually. And green hydrogen is maybe the IHI company will explain more details about the hydrogen, but in the slide I mentioned in short, the green hydrogen is produced through the electrolysis of water using electricity carbon neutral energy such as renewable energy and nuclear power. So it's totally carbon-free hydrogen. And blue hydrogen means produced from the fossil fuel with the carbon dioxide capture and storage process. So it can be considered that no carbon dioxide is emitted from the perspectives of hydrogen production. So this kind of blue or green hydrogen can be the next non-fossil fuel as a third priority strategy. So next, I would like to explain about the difficulties in decarbonizing electricity in Japan. So I mentioned about the second priority strategy, the both of electrification on the demand side and the carbon neutral electricity installment is also very important. So I'd like to focus on the carbon neutral electricity. But before the explanation, I'd like to introduce about the electricity supply differences between Japan and Indonesia. Actually, Japanese data in 2023, the total electricity supply is 985.4 billion kilowatt hour per year. It's much larger value compared to Indonesia. In spite of the population volume is almost a half, but we Japan consume a huge amount of electricity like this. And the electricity supply is from the thermal power by using fossil fuels and non-fossil fuel power sources. The thermal power percentage is 68.6%, and the breakdown of the thermal power is like this: natural gas 33%, coal 28%, and oil is only 7.6%. Compared to the Indonesia data, the coal is much less than the Indonesia, but the natural gas ratio is much bigger value in Japan. And totally, the thermal power ratio is a little bit lower value compared to the Indonesia. And non-fossil fuel power sources, it's 31.4% in Japan. And the breakdown of the non-fossil fuel power sources, the biggest value marked in the solar power is 9.8%. And the second prize is the nuclear power, 8.5%. And now it's the ratio is a little bit increasing. And others, hydrogen power, 76%, biomass power, 4.1%, and wind and geothermal is very little value. And I would like to explain about the biomass power generation a little bit, because in this group of PBL, some group focus on the biomass or waste utilization. So actually, in Japan, we have two types of biomass power plants. The first one is a large-scale biomass power plant, and the resource of this power generation is from wood and the imported PKS, palm oil waste from Indonesia and Malaysia. So we import this kind of waste, biomass waste, and of course, inside of Japan, we produce the wood biomass a little bit. So we have this kind of many biomass power plants like this. And the other types of the biomass power plant is the urban waste biomass power plant. So this figure shows the flow of the biomass utilization power plant system. So I'd like to explain a little bit about this one. So first of all, as a first step, we residents have to sort the waste into burnable and non-burnable waste. And after the separation, the governmental services will collect the waste in each household. And in some cities, organic waste are separated from the burnable waste. Like this. So in the separation machine, the organic waste are separated from the burnable waste. And after that, from the organic waste, biogas is produced by the biogas fermentation plant like this, and utilized for the vehicle, such as bus fuel, instead of the compressed natural gas like this. And also, the biogas can be utilized as the resource of the generation of electricity and heat. Yes. So in some cities, this kind of waste management system are already installed. Okay, so go back to the electricity supply trend in Japan. So including biomass, the renewable energy ratio is increasing year by year like this. And let's see the part one. You can see the nuclear power plant was stopped after the big earthquake in 2011, actually. But recently, after checking the safety of the nuclear power plants, some power plants are start working again. So the ratio a little bit slightly increasing now. And just after the earthquake, we install the thermal fossil fuel, especially the coal power generation plant instead of the nuclear power generation plant. So actually, the peak ratio of the thermal power generation is recorded in 2013. So the thermal power generation ratio has the biggest ratio in 2013. That's why the carbon dioxide emission peak in the same year, 2013. And after that, increase of the installment of renewable energy and energy saving, then the greenhouse gases emission was also decreased like this. So it's a linear connection to the electricity components, supply components like this. Okay, so when we achieve the decarbonized society in Japan, we have to increase the ratio of this renewable energy in future. However, we wonder the cost of the power generation renewable cost because it seems to be very expensive compared to the fossil fuel electricity. However, in this data, this Japanese government published this cost data. You can see the fossil fuel electricity cost is a good competitor to the carbon neutral electricity cost. So you can see the blue one is the capital cost. So capital cost is a relatively bigger price in the carbon neutral electricity compared to the fossil fuel electricity. And the operation cost is also the same. However, the fuel cost is only add in the fossil fuel electricity cost and the biomass and nuclear power generation cost. So actually in the fossil fuel electricity cost, you can see the yellow one is the carbon tax. However, the carbon tax has not been introduced in Japan, but is now being discussed. So for now, let's ignore the carbon tax because it's not installed yet. So let's focus on the three these direct costs: capital cost, operation cost, and fuel cost. So when we see the, for example, the coal power generation cost, we can see the 6.3 plus 2.2 plus 2.2, then 10.7 Japanese yen per kilowatt hour was the coal power generation cost. And the natural gas cost is around 12.9 Japanese yen per kilowatt hour like this. So when we compare to the this direct cost to carbon neutral electricity cost, then you can see the large scale solar power PV cost is only 10.9 Japanese yen per kilowatt hour. So it can be the good competitor to the fossil fuel electricity like this. But some of other carbon neutral resources have much higher price actually. So Japanese government includes the social cost actually. Social cost is mainly the renewable energy surcharge to keep the carbon neutral power generation business. So I'd like to explain a little bit about this social cost because because the carbon neutral electricity cost is still a little bit expensive compared to the fossil fuel electricity direct cost, the three ones. So to keep the carbon neutral power generation business, Japanese government have to support by using the social cost. So the scheme of the surcharge is called as feed-in tariff fixed system. In this scheme, the power company must buy the renewable energy at fixed prices. And this fixed prices is a higher price than the market price. This price is set by Japanese government, and the power company have to buy this fixed price renewable energy. So, and also power company have to guarantee for the certain period of the purchase of this renewable energy by this fixed price. However, compared to the market price, the fixed price have the surcharge cost like this. So the surcharge costs are covered by consumers through renewable energy surcharge. So we have to, so actually the renewable energy company can sell in the higher price with the fixed price to power company so they can keep their business. However, the power company have to buy in the higher price compared to the market price. So they have to collect surcharge from the electricity consumers, so from the residents, actually. So this kind of system is installed in Japan. So the large scale. So this kind of carbon neutral electricity can be a good competitor to the fossil fuel electricity now. And about the energy potential in Japan of the renewable energy, Japanese government calculate the installable potential of each renewable energy resources, such as solar PV in the rooftop, or solar PV in the agricultural field, or riverside, or the seaside, and offshore wind, or onshore wind, and offshore wind, and hydrogen, and geothermal, like this. So you can see the installable potential has very huge value compared to the actual electricity consumption generation, like this. And Japanese government also calculates the economically feasible potential in each renewable energy. Then you can see the value is reduced compared to the installable potential, of course. However, the total value, total potential is still can cover the total actual electricity generation. So from the viewpoint potential, the renewable energy can be installed more and more. Sorry. And here is the renewable energy potential map. So if you want to see that, you can check the potential map from Japan, renewable energy potential map from Japan from this website. But from the viewpoint of economic, renewable energy can be the good competitor to fossil fuel. However, there are some challenges about the renewable energy installment. For example, the difficulty of consensus building. For example, the wind power, some residential people claims of the health impacts from the noise. For example, the low frequency sounds from the wind power blade. And some residential people think about the concerns regarding the bird strikes to the wind blade. And in general, renewable energy difficulties is like this: the safety risk to residential life due to the disasters and accidents like this. And there's lack of contribution to the local community in energy and economic aspect. For example, the renewable energy can be installed in the rural area, for example, in the mountainside, or and in many cases, the huge company it's located in Tokyo, in the city side, suddenly come to the rural area and develop the mountainside, cutting the mountain, cutting the trees, and put this kind of mega solar panel. And all of the power generation from this solar panel are selling to the Tokyo Power Electric Company, not supplied to the local communities. And also, the company itself is from Tokyo. It's not the local company. So in the local area, there is no benefits from the viewpoint of energy and economic both. So here is the key solutions to solve this problem. The consensus building requires a renewable energy project that brings benefits to the local community. It's a very key point. For example, the benefits, for example, the revitalization of the local economy by the job creation, for example, or the simultaneous resolution of local challenges, such as disaster risk reduction, or they can the preventing the outflow of energy costs through local production and consumption energy in local area. So this kind of benefit, revitalization, the local challenges solved, and the prevention of the outflow of energy costs, and the revitalization of economic energy circulation in local community. This kind of benefit is a very key point to make the consensus building with the local people to install the new renewable energy, actually. For example, the local challenges, for example, in local area, the public transport in aging area, the public transportation or public services is operating at a loss in many cases in local area in Japan. So if the renewable energy project return their benefits, part of the revenue to help these local challenging solutions, this is a welcome solution for the local people. So it can contribute to smooth consensus building. Okay. And second of the renewable energy challenge is the difficulty in controlling instability. Actually, in the electricity grid system, the energy supply side and demand side are balancing on the real time. So, for example, the renewable energy is very unstable power supply. So, if the ratio of renewable energy is increased, this balance is easily destroyed, and it leads the blackout in society. So to avoid the blackout, the flexible gas generators must keep idling to back up this kind of variable renewable energies, unstable renewable energies. For example, when solar power generators are not during the daytime, excess electricity may occur, so the forcing renewable energy to be wasted. So this situation is called as renewable energy curtailment. So Japanese government forecast the wind and solar power curtailment outlook like this in each power generation area. So you can see the ratio of curtailment in hours when the solar power and wind power is largely installed in each area. For example, in Hokkaido area, about 23% of total renewable energy installment was wasted, or how can I say, the disposed, the electricity, the generated electricity to keep the this grid system, the power balance, demand and supply balance. So about 23% up to wasted in Hokkaido area, and in Tohoku area, it's around 38% of total renewable energy should be wasted to keep the balance of supply and demand balance in the grid system. So to avoid this kind of curtailment, there's three key solutions. The first one is the transition from feed-in tariff to feed-in premium system. So in this feed-in tariff system, for example, the solar power generator can sell their electricity with the fixed price in any time. So they install solar power as possible as they can. However, from the viewpoint of grid system, the solar power is enough because in the daytime, the rising solar power installment, the market price is around 0.01 Japanese yen per kilowatt hour in the daytime recently. So the feed-in tariff system cannot avoid the control of solar power or the renewable power generators. So the Japanese government decided to change the strategy to feed-in premium system. It's the feed-in premium price is how can I say, is changing based on the market price like this. So rising solar power reduces daytime market price, helping to prevent excessive solar power and encouraging battery use in daytime especially, thereby shaping the demand aligned electricity market like this. So this is one of the solutions to avoid the renewable energy curtailment. And the second strategy is the grid-connected battery installation by major power companies. So of course, in these major power company in each area, expected the renewable energy curtailment in this huge scale. So they try to install the huge amount of battery by themselves. Like this. This is a plan. So by 2030, Japan is expected to have about 14.1 to 23.8 gigawatt hour of grid-scale batteries installed. However, since the cost of grid-scale batteries is added to the electricity fee, actually, so an increase in electricity prices is expected for consumers. So we have the third solutions. The third solution is the demand side management. For example, if based on the renewable energy power production, the aggregation company remote control of air conditioner and lighting system in each buildings or in each area for grid flexibility. So this kind of demand side management can be solved the curtailment. For example, if the when the weather is not good, it's a rainy day, the renewable energy, especially solar power output is very lower value, then in that case, this aggregation business company remote control the residential household or factories, air conditioners and lighting system to energy saving mode. And another strategy is the thermal storage control for grid flexibility. So for example, in Japan, we take a bath almost every day. So we need a huge amount of hot water in each residence. So if the heat pump system are installed for the hot water supplier, they consume electricity to produce the hot water. So the aggregation business can control the hot water producing system for grid flexibility like this. And also, in near future, the electric vehicle will be installed in Japanese society. So this kind of electric vehicle or the battery in each factories or households, these battery can be controlled by the aggregation business for grid flexibility. So this kind of e-grid electric vehicle is very expected as the new virtual power plant. For example, in Japan, 62 million passenger cars in Japan, each with a 30 kilowatt hour EV battery, for example, in case it represents a potential of 1,860 gigawatt hour as potential. So this kind of huge amount of battery system are distributed in the demand side. So if we can aggregate the demand side devices, including the electricity vehicle or the air conditioner or the summer storage control system, it can be the huge, very useful control system of the unstable renewable energy. And it can contribute to avoid the curtailment of renewable energy. So when we check the value, when we compare the value of this 1,860 gigawatt hour battery system,
All right, thank you so much, Professor Iwata, for the presentations. I believe some of you already taken notes and also highlighting the informations of the energy supply sites from Japanese country. So I also would like to share with you guys, don't forget to fill in your twill during the session. So at the end of the sessions today, we're gonna have the Q&A sessions for Professor Iwata's lecture on the demand on the supply side from Japan. And right after this, I would like to inform you that we have a special guest today that also will share about the supply side on the energy system from Indonesia. So from Indonesia side, we have here already with us Mr. Ricky from PLN. So PLN is a state electricity company or national electricity company in Indonesia that also look after all of the supply side for Indonesia in terms of the electricity. Before we start, I would like to greet Bapak Ricky Faisal. How are you today, Bapak?
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Okay.
afternoon, Bapak. Thank you so much for join together with us in this Zoom meeting. So, for a glimpse of information for Pak Ricky, this online lecture is attended by the ITS students, and also we have ITS Professor Dr. Maria Anityasari together with us, and also we have our partner university from Nihon University and also Sibaura Institute of Technology. Also the representative of the faculty members from Sibaura and Nihon University. So we have Professor Nakamura, Professor Kenjudai, Professor Murase, and also Professor Iwata. So, without further ado, I would like to invite Bapak Ricky Faisal to give informations in terms of the supply energy from Indonesia side. Please, the time is yours, Bapak.
Uh, thank you for Mbak Agustin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good afternoon, all participants, include our colleagues from ITS, from SIT, I believe, and all student of ITS student. Uh, on behalf of our Executive Vice President, Pak Eko Wido, I would like to represent him to give the presentation about the supply side in Indonesia. Uh, we focus on PLN because I work in PLN as a system planning. And my name, I want to introduce, my name is Lucky Paiza. Currently, I'm Vice President of RUPTL, or RUPTL is long-term system planning, 10-year system planning in PLN. And my job is to uh, make the system planning for 10 years for PLN. So let me share with you. Maybe I believe I have 30 minutes. Is it to present
Yes, yes,
to make the
correct, Bapak.
presentation?
Yeah.
Yes. Wait a moment. I will share it to okay this one. Okay. As I mentioned, I would like to give you some presentation about supply side in Indonesia. Actually, in Indonesia, not only PLN whose job is to electrifying the nation, because we have another utility or another company that already authorized by the Ministry of Energy. So PLN is roughly around 80% of Indonesian infrastructure in electricity. So this is the last 2 years. I think I didn't update the data, but as a comparison that in 2024 we have more than 72 gigawatt of generation capacity owned by PLN and the IPPs, the independent power producer. And then our customers is around 89 million customers. And then we powered around 280 million people. Yeah. And then we have more than 70,000 kilometer circuit of transmission line, with more than 1 million circuit kilometers of distribution line. And we have 39.6 billion USD revenues in 2023. This is a glimpse of PLN from infrastructure side, the generation, transmission, distribution. For generation, we have uh, also independent power producer. So PLN not only us who established to generate the power, but we have also uh, IPP, independent power producer. Meanwhile, for the transmission and distribution is still owned by the PLN. Uh, and then this is the uh, a glimpse of PLN profile company. We have six, what we call it, cluster. Besides PLN, we also have a subsidiary of PLN. The first one is PLN Energy Primer. It's arrange and also manage the primary energy for the generations. And then we have PLN Generation. We have three company, PLN Indonesia Power, Nusantara Power, and MCTN, Mandau Cipta Tenaga Nusantara, located in Riau. Meanwhile, we also have another business area, PLN Batam. So PLN Batam has also its own RUPTL. And then we have PLN Icon Plus, the who service for the beyond KWH, beyond kilowatt hours. It means that all the business development beside to produce or to the electricity. So Icon Plus currently based on the internet, we provider as internet provider. And then we have business solution company, Energy Management Indonesia, Nusa Daya, Kalayona Power, and also PLN Engineering. This is the glimpse of a company for power PLN. And when we talk about the system plan, the generation planning or supply side, we cannot separate from another uh, business process. The first one is how we can make the demand forecast, because demand forecast is uh, the basic uh, the basic thing that before we can continue uh, to have some additional in the infrastructure. Before we have the planning for the infrastructure, we have to make the demand forecast first. So usually 10 years planning, because PLN only have the permit to make the 10 years planning, which is our EPTL, as I mentioned, PLN business plan. And then generation planning, substation, we have the demand, and then the demand is based on the growth population, statistical point of view, and also economical, because we use the econometric method. We run the forecast for 10 years planning, and the output is the demand of the in terms of electricity demand in kilowatt hours or terawatt hours, and then also the peak demand, and then the numbers of our customer, energy production, power contract, and also peak load. And then after this, we move to the generation planning. So the generation planning is concerned about the existing power plants, the new power plants, the reserve margin criteria. In PLN, we have the criteria for generation expansion planning is using the ROLP, loss of load probability, 1 day per year. Besides that, we also have some strict our constraint about the uh, reserve margins. So it's around 30 until 40% that allowed by the government to develop the new power plant. We can have the reserve margin around 30 until 40%. Uh, the goal of the generation planning is we can have the new power plant, and then how many percent of renewable energy consists, and also the reserve margin criteria, the how much investment that we have to when we want to build the new generation, and so on. And after that, we continue to transmission and substation planning. Um, as I mentioned that uh, we have some criteria for system transmission. Usually in our grid growth is N-1 criteria. So when we uh, make the transmission planning, we consider about the N-1, also the stability of the grid, load flows of circuit, and stability study. We conduct all of them. And then the distribution planning. After we have the grid, we also continue with the distribution planning. Uh, uh, Decision planning is for 20 kilowatt voltage level, below 20 kilowatt. We call it as the distribution side. And then after all of this, we have the generation infrastructure, transmission, substation, and distribution. Of course, they have some kind of investment cost. How much investment cost each year that we have to provide in PLN. So here we have the investment need in 10 years. Also, the energy mix and fuel requirement for all of this, because we have generation planning, we can also have the investment cost and also the operational cost. This is the coordination between each division or each PIC, business process owner, and also the risk assessment of each step. And I continue with the message from our new president, Pak Prabowo, that he said that during his administration, the government will focus on achieving energy independence and security. This is what we highlight and what we note from the presentation or first speech of Pak Prabowo on October 2024. That's why we have to uh, optimize the local potential of energy based on the renewable energy sources such as geothermal and then hydro and also wind and solar. Uh, in Indonesia, we have three kind of document. The the first one is the we call it CAN, Kebijakan Energi Nasional or National Energy Policy. It is ratified on February 2025. So we have the biggest document is the CAN, the National Energy Policy, and followed by the uh, General Plan for National Electricity or RUKN 2025 until 60. And the last one is PLN Electricity Supply Business Plan or RUPTL, Rencana Usaha Penyediaan Tenaga Listrik for 10 years, 2025 until 2034. So all of the document is aligned each other. So we actually RUPTL is not only made by PLN, but other business area have our obligation to make the RUPTL itself, such as PLN Batam, including, or in Java we have Cikarang Listrindo. They have their own grid, their own generation, their own consumers. So each party have to make the RUPTL. And PLN, as the biggest system owner in Indonesia, we made the RBTL for 10 years. This is the difference between the previous RBTL with the new one. The first one is that we adopt the geospatial analysis using regional basis, and then we also uh, try to uh, make the new infrastructure consist of 48,000 kilometer circuit of transmission line. And also in the new RBTL, we start to develop smart grid technologies. This is in order to get the higher penetration of the renewable energy, basically for the intermittent like the solar and wind. And also, we already addressed the demand fluctuation risk and also map all of them. So this is the new one. And maybe the difference between the previous RPTL, the 2021, 2030, with the 2025, 2034 is in the new RPTL, we start to introduce the nuclear power plant. Before the new RPTL, there is no nuclear power plant in the list project. So the difference between, I'm sorry, between this document is that in RPTL, we mentioned about the project list, whether it is from the generation, transmission, and also the distribution. So also include the substation. So in the previous second document, the first one and the second one, there is no project list. But the RVPTL, we include the project list, all of the project list in 10 years in RVPTL. So all the investors can, all the developers of renewable energy, of the gas manufacturer, or for the investors, they can see what Indonesia will build in the next 10 years in terms of electricity infrastructure. This is the alignment between the Indonesian government and also the PLN. PLN is a state-owned company, maybe for all of you who didn't know about PLN. So PLN basically is owned by the state-owned company, BUMN, but currently with the Danantara, under Danantara. So we have to align with the what government want is the energy security, environmental sustainability, and also the Ministry of Energy. We have to make the RVPTL is part of electricity system sustainability for the state-owned enterprise, BUMN. They focus on the corporate financial sustainability because PLN is owned by the government, and also for the finance ministry, focus on the fiscal sustainability. How many subsidies, how many compensation that government have to pay to the PLN. This is for the example, this is the demand forecast in the next 10 years, 2034. Currently, Indonesia, especially PLN coverage, the demand is around 306 terawatt hours. But in the next 10 years, we will have 511 terawatt hours. Consists of organic demand or natural demand, and then data center, uh, KI, kawasan ekonomi khusus, special economic zone, and then mineral coal downstreaming, electrical vehicle, palm oil downstreaming, new capital, the capital located in the eastern of Borneo, eastern of Kalimantan, and then also maritime and tourism sector. We already map and uh, list all of them in the next 10 years plan. And this is the spread of the uh, distribution of the location of the renewable energy in Indonesia, and consists of hydro, geothermal, bioenergy, solar PV, and wind. And and also aligned with the demand centers. The red one, the it's if you look in Indonesia, it's very distributed from the western until the eastern part of Indonesia, and the location is very far away in many archipelago in Indonesia. So I think this is one of the challenges in developing the infrastructure of electricity in Indonesia. We have a plan to interconnectivity between each island using the HVDC, high voltage direct current submarine cables from each island. So, as for example, we will in the next 10 years we will have the Sumatra with Java island. Java Bali is the largest population in Indonesia and also largest uh, consume of electricity in Indonesia, more than 75% located in Java Bali. This is what we will have in the next uh, few years, that we will make the interconnection between each island. Due to the topology of Indonesia consists of many archipelagos, and we have five biggest islands in Indonesia: Sumatra, Kalimantan, Jawa, Bali, uh, and then Sulawesi and Papua. But I think the eastern part is very challenging in terms of developing the infrastructure and also in on how we create the demand. But this is the point, a glimpse of what PLN will build in the next more than 10 years in terms of grid development. So currently we have the Java, Bali, and Madura interconnection with the high voltage cables, submarine cables, and then from Sumatra to Bangka already connected with the 150 kV submarine cables. And our next project is 2031, uh, to develop the expedition that connect the Java and Sumatra island. This is the concept is we will bring the renewable energy power from Sumatra to supply the Java Bali island. And this is the new RPTL, the difference between the previous RPTL and the new one. You can see that in the 10 years planning, the new RPTL is very massive in terms of how PLN will build the renewable energy, including the intermittence, generation, solar, and wind. So in the previous RPTL, only 5 gigawatt that list in the project, but the new RPTL around 26 gigawatt, more than 26 gigawatt uh, that will build. This is include the 3 gigawatt from solar rooftop because solar rooftop is not developed by the PLN, it's developed by the consumer. But we have made some quota for the rooftop solar PV. And in the next 10 years, only around 33 gigawatts that allow to connect with the systems. This is the glimpse of RBTL, consists of, in terms of generation planning, we have 42.1 gigawatt of renewable energy, consists of wind 7.2, and then solar 17.1%, geothermal 5.2, and then hydro 11.7, and bioenergy 0.9 gigawatt. And nuclear, in 10 years, we will try to develop the around 500 megawatt nuclear power plant located in Kalimantan and Bangka Island. Meanwhile, for storage, we will have the hydro pump storage around 4.3 gigawatt, and then battery energy storage around 6 gigawatt. Meanwhile, for the fossil fuel, still consists of gas, around 10.3 gigawatt, and coal. And for the coal, there is no new development there is no new planning for developing the coal power plant, but it is only continuing the previous project that already mentioned in the previous RPTL. It's around 6 gigawatt. So the total is around almost 70 gigawatt or 69.5 gigawatt additional power plant, including the battery energy storage in Indonesia. So roughly around more than 76% of the new additional generation will be from the renewable energy sources. This, as we mentioned, that more than 60%, 76% of capacity from renewable energy. This is the distribution of each system or each island, Sumatra, Kalimantan, Jawa, Bali, and then the eastern part of Indonesia, Sulawesi, Maluku, Papua, Nusa Tenggara. Consists of many types of generation that will be built in the next 10 years. This is for the transmission line. As you can see that we will develop many transmission lines, around 48 kilometers circuits of transmission line. Jawa Bali around 14,000 kilometers circuit will be built in Indonesia. Most of them is 150 kV, the red one, and the blue one is 500 kV. Meanwhile, the yellow one is 70 kV. And this is, if we talk about the renewable energy mix in PLN, we try to support the government's program that to achieve the net zero emission in 2060. But because our point of view is 10 years, so this is some kind of timeline or a roadmap in order to achieve the zero net zero emission. Uh, this is for the comparison from the previous document RUKN with the RUPTL. RUKN is published by the Ministry of Energy and create or by the Ministry of Energy also. Meanwhile, RUPTL is created by PLN but signed by the ministry. So the comparison, our planning is higher achievement in renewable energy planning uh, by the end of 2034. More than in 2034, we will try to achieve more than 34.3% of production is from renewable energy. And this is, or we are PLN not only supply or serve the big grid, large grid only, but we also focus on the rural electrification because we have a target for rural electrification ratio, or we call it DISDES, District Pedesaan, villages, and then we have because Indonesia consists of many island, many villages, more than currently we have program to supply more than uh, 10,000 villages in Indonesia and in all of Indonesia. So this is the number of customers, numbers of peak capacity, because it's distributed in many islands, especially in Eastern, and also in Sumatra, many isolated islands in Indonesia. So this is also one of the biggest challenge in Indonesia on how we can supply all of these people in remote area. This is, for example, how PLN will try to propose the rural activation program in 2024, 26, 25. This is located in Aceh. We already mapped all of the planning using the GIS, Geographic Information Systems, and we already mapped all of them, such as the needs of electricity, how many customers, type of generations, and what kind of infrastructure that need to be built in the next 10 years. This is in the Aceh province, and this is in the Papua province. You can see this is located near the jungle, the forest, and there is maybe around few people live there in very isolated island. And this also our task in PLN to electrify the all of the nation. And in terms of RUPTL, our 10 years planning actually have the generate the multiplier effects on national economy because you can see that with more than 69.5 gigawatt generation and battery and storage that will be built in the next 10 years, it will support to achieve the 8% economic growth that already proposed by our president, Pak Prabowo. He has a very ambitious target in how Indonesia can achieve 8%. Also, of course, this is all will need support from one of them is from the energy sector, such as electricity, because it can supply the industrial zones, downstreaming, special economic zone, integrated marine and fisheries, EP, electrical vehicle ecosystem, and also for the super priority tourism destination. And uh, uh, it's very challenging in electrifying all of the nation, including the isolated system. But we believe that PLM can do this kind of task, and we will try to electrifying the nations in all of our place in Indonesia. Yes. I think that's all my presentations about the supply side in PLN, especially we talk about system planning in 10 years system planning based on the REPTL document, um, business PLN business planning for the electricity infrastructure in the next 10 years. I think that's all, Bu Agustin. Maybe we can discuss after this presentation. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Pak Ricky, for your presentations. I think this is a very important information. So I hope everyone taken notes and also ready with the questions. So we already put on the chat box. So for participant, if you would like to ask questions, you can put the questions on the Slido on the chat box. Before we start the Q&A sessions, I also would like to invite Masaya Kato and Taiyo Kumano, also Ryoto Matsushita, to also join us for the discussions, since for the Japan side, the questions will be given towards uh, Masaya, Taiyo, and also Ryoto. So, is there any questions, everyone? I know everybody have a lot of questions. Okay, so our first questions turns out from the friends from ITS here. So, Michael Pardede, you can ask the questions to both for Japanese side and also Indonesian side.
Sure. Thank you first of all, Ms. Agustin, for the Mr. Ricky, it was a great presentation. So we could know about the planning of Indonesia from 2025 until 2034. I actually want to know about the nuclear reactor or the nuclear upcoming generator. So from the Erubetel mentions that 2025 until 2034 highlights that there are a nuclear potential in Kalimantan and Sumatra. And also, there is still a waiting of this PLTN or nuclear generator feasibility study. So, from PLN's perspective, what are the main challenges in advancing this nuclear? Is it technical, regulatory, or the public acceptance? Thank you.
All right.
We
Pak
have,
Ricky, yes, you
we
may
have to
answer the
answer
question.
directly or still wait for another question?
Yes, you can answer
Okay.
directly, Pak.
Okay. As I mentioned in the previous slide, that in the next 10 years, especially in 2032, we have target to build the 500 megawatts of nuclear located in Kalimantan and also Sumatra Bangka, which is I think in Bangka Island, and also in the West Borneo, West Kalimantan, because both of them, in terms of the social problems and also the geographic conditions, because we have some kind of very restricted regulations. If we want to build the nuclear power plant, we have to make sure that there is no potential of the earthquake, for example, tsunami, and so on. And Kalimantan and Bangka is very, very ideal location in Indonesia in terms of the earthquake and something like that. For the main challenges is, I think, is the regulatory side, because we have, for example, we still wait for the NEPIO, like the government body for who's in charge in uh, regulating the nuclear power plants. Meanwhile, for any other technical problems, I think it can be solved. And for you are right, Michael, because actually we are not only build the 500 megawatts, because in the next, until I think until 2040 we will build we will have around 7 gigawatts of nuclear power plant. So because our planning is in our is only 10 years, so this is for the pilot project. For the previous project is the small one. We can use the small modular reactor, for example, but this is not limited only for the SMR. We are very open for any kind of technology, but the size is uh, uh, proportion is as the system needs. So maybe in Kalimantan, because the load is also still not high enough, so the size is for the nuclear plant is only around 250 megawatts. But the next one, maybe for example in Jawa Bali, we also build the nuclear power plant in terms of very with the high size scale, uh, maybe 1 gigawatt or more than 500 gigawatts. So I think that's for the answers. And that's why I think nuclear power plant and also the renewable energy in the next few years will be viral and will be trend in Indonesia. And I hope that all of you, especially from the ITS graduate student, will contribute to the development of new technology because I think it's very challenging. As I mentioned, we will have the new HPDC, high voltage direct current system interconnect the high voltage DC link in Sumatra, and Sumatra will also connect with the peninsular Malaysia with the HPDC also. I think, yeah, we will need many engineers who very high skill with the HPDC technology or the nuclear technology, wind, solar, especially batteries and so on. I think it's very challenging, but also opportunity for especially for all of you. United States. I think that's all, Pak Dede.
Yes, thank you so much, Pak Ricky, for your answer. It is very challenging looking at our country in Indonesia, but the opportunities there, as Pak Ricky mentions. So thank you, Michael, for your question. I would like to invite other students. If you want to ask questions directly to Pak Ricky and also team from SIT, please raise your hands. So we have here Arya. Also raise your hands. You can unmute and also ask your questions, Arya.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Miss Agustin. So I would like to ask the questions for the Japanese students here. This question is regarding to the transition to renewable energy in Japan. So I would like to ask, is there any trade-off or like any problems when you do the transitioning between the non-renewable energy like oil and gas or like coal to the renewability such as wind, water, and etc.? Is there any challenges or like some problems, maybe some social problems actually? Because I really curious about like what's the opinion of Japanese citizens regarding to the transition to the renewable energy in Japan.
All right. Thank you, Arya, for your question. So I think our SIT team, Masaya, Taiyo, or Ryoto, you can answer the questions.
Thank you for the question. あ問題ってことかな。
うん。
再エネを導入する。
それ、どう思ってるかってことですね。
多分そうだね。
Uh, Taiyo and Masaya, uh, did
う
you get
ん。
the questions or you need the explanations or is it clear?
うん。
Sorry, please write your question on the chat box.
Okay, so
Sorry.
I can help to repeat Arya's question. So Arya is asking, what is the challenge of transitioning the energy to renewable system in Japan? Maybe you can tell about how Japanese citizen respond to the transition for renewable energy.
Okay. I understand. Okay. Uh, in particular, so rural cities citizen think it is not good for renewable energy because they are important to sightseeing. or lifestyle. So they don't think good for renewable energy. But it is not all.
Okay, so yeah, I get what's your opinion about, like, maybe in rural areas they don't think renewable energy is good for the environment, but then not all of them rejecting the ideas of
Yes,
renewable
yes.
energy. Some of them is also okay to that ideas, right? Arya, is that answering your question?
Can I ask a bit, just a bit question? Just a bit
Yes.
question. Can you give me the example of the rural area that will be like affected by the renewable energy transition? Like which area that will be built by, like for example, wind turbines or etc. Which area is it?
Okay. Maybe Tayu and Masaya, can you also inform us which area in Japan that having the ideas or plan to do the renewable energy implementations? Maybe like close to the sea or water for the wind turbines. Is there any specific areas in Japan that has been introduced to renewable energy?
反対が起きてるエリアってことかな。
うん、ああ、どう
でも、
導入すればいいかっていう。
そ
うん、そう、確か
for example, city of Choshi, city of Choshi is a good place for wind energy.
Where is the locations? Where is
Uh,
that?
in Chiba,
Oh, Chiba.
uh, near Tokyo,
Okay,
seaside area.
I see.
Yeah, but residents, some residents rejected the wind energy's plan. So there is good, a lot of potentiality of renewable wind energy, but あ導入はされていない理由は。で But introduction has not progressed
Oh,
in
okay.
Joshi area.
All right. So
Yeah,
thank you
this is
for
this is
informing.
this is Katramiz from
Yes.
SIT. Maybe if I may add, sorry, I am on the move, so I cannot put my camera on. But I just want to say that there is not maybe one area in Japan. There are more like than 150 kind of like areas around Japan where like there been some kind of opposition to either like large scale solar power or wind power in Japan. And usually it's either kind of like a farming communities when there are local communities are worried about large scale solar power might affect the sceneries or maybe even affect their like agricultural production. But also wind power has also received some opposition, especially in like fishing communities in some coastal areas, especially fishing communities where they basically fish in shallow areas, so like very close to the uh, to the land, not very much kind of like deep sea level fishermen, like those who like, for example, do tuna fishing. They don't care much about wind power, but those who are doing white bait, for example, and like other kind of like products, uh, they have to like do it in a shallow area. So sometimes they are a bit like worried about wind power. There's also those who were worried about noise level, and of course there are also some agricultural area where they worry about the effect of wind power on the ecosystem. But I think one of the example that I think Kumano san mentioned is one example, but there are over maybe there's a list of like probably 100 places where like there have been like some kind of troubles related to that.
All right. Thank you so much, Professor Katramis, for adding the informations on the how the Japanese citizen responds to the ideas of the renewable energy. All right, Arya, I hope that's answering your questions. Thank you so much for asking the questions. Okay, let's see. Perhaps I would like to invite one more questions or comments from students or professors, both from ITS or SIT. If you also have questions regarding the lecture from energy system in Indonesia and also in Japan, please feel free before we. Okay, Asadel is raising the hands as well. Please, Asadel, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Okay, maybe I want to ask about the energy supply in Japan. Based on the explanation, we see that the Japan government set the top priority to the renewable energy is doing energy saving. Rather than doing electrified to electrify the energy. As we know, as a normal person, maybe electrified is one of the best solution to to decrease the carbonize in the environment. But why Japan government is doing and set the top priority strategy with energy saving? Why not electrify the energy? Maybe that's my question.
Okay. Asadeli's question is about why a Japanese government prefer to use the energy saving rather than electrifying the energy.
うん。
Masaya or Taiyo?
なんでこれ優先的にやってるかってことだよね。
うん。
ああ。
うーんと、just some minutes. お
Maybe we can also, while we are waiting for the answer from SIT team, perhaps from Indonesia side, Pak Ricky, in regard to that questions about the energy saving and also electrifying the energy, how about Indonesia side, Pak? Does Indonesia like have the tendency to more electrifying the energy or like a more energy saving, like in terms of the Indonesia, while we are waiting for our Japanese team preparing the questions?
Okay. So maybe I can answer for the initial sites. So basically, we combine all of them because in some areas we have very abundant of renewable energy sources, but in some area we still have deficits for renewable energy sources, such as there is no more the province is doesn't have many coals, gas, or something like that, but in another area, such as in Sumatra, we have many provinces, especially in the southern part of Sumatra. We have gas in Sumatra Selatan, in southern Sumatra, gas, coal, and then hydro also in the middle, in the eastern part of Sumatra and the center of Sumatra, like Western Sumatra also, many hydro power plant there. But in another area, another region, such as in the eastern part of Indonesia, Maluku, Papua, Nusa Tenggara, still use the oil generations. to electrify that's why in some area we have to, if you can, you have to make some demand side management, for example, but as PLN, we will try to convert this oil-based generation with the renewable energy sources, such as the battery and the solar, combined with the solar power plant. So I think it's depend on the region or the area, because we in some place we have abundant resource of renewable, including renewable energy. That's why in my presentation, the to optimize this kind of this geographic given by God to Indonesia, we will try to interconnect to make the interconnection between each area. That's why, for example, Java Bali in the next few years, because we have a restriction to build the new coal power plant. We cannot build many coal power plants due to the limitation, due to in the regulation, and also maybe if you want to build the new coal power plant, it's very not bankable. It's very hard to get the investment to have the lender such as international bank. They will bank you, then they will prefer for the renewable energy sources for investment for the lender. So I think it's very challenging in the. That's why Java Bali will need supply from many regions such as Sumatra, Kalimantan, and maybe in the beyond 2040, we also will build many solar project in the Sumba area, because you can see from the solar maps, for example, the one area that have many higher solar is the eastern part of Indonesia near the Australia. So because Australia is very good, yeah. So that's why, although we can put many solar power plant anywhere, but there is optimized area such as in the eastern part of Indonesia, such as Sumba Island is very potential if you want to build many solar power plant there. I think that's my answers.
All right. Thank you, Pak Ricky, for sharing about the plan of Indonesia in terms of the electrifying and also the energy saving. All right, back to SIT team. So about the questions from Asadel, could you please respond on why, like the Japanese government prefer to prioritize the energy saving rather than electrifying the energy?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, first me.
Ayo.
Saturation of electrical energy is currently a problem in Japan. So demand for electricity will only increase in the future and will not decrease. So therefore, the first step is to save energy as a um, first primary.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah. Okay, so Asadel, from your questions, the SIT team mentions about like currently, perhaps like the demand is not that high in Japan for
Mm.
the energy, so they like prefer to save it now, but use it later in the future, because like perhaps in the
Mm.
future, the demand of the electric our energy system will getting higher.
Mm.
So I hope that answering your question, Asadel. All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Thank you, Asadel. And maybe this will be the last questions we have here on the chat box. Maybe I can invite Ibu Maria to unmute and also ask directly to Pak Ricky from PLN. Please, Ibu.
Thank you so much, Mbak Fai. Pak Riki, terima kasih banyak. Bapak really appreciate your time and your very comprehensive and interesting presentation. Thank you so much, Pak. I would like to ask, Pak, because currently, if we're looking at the plan that PLN set, which is very good, however, we realize that the current condition in Indonesia somehow is like uncertain because of the pressure, financial pressure, uncertainty, and then efficiency issue that's set in many discussion and many highlight. I just wonder, Pak, how likely the plan that's set and presented just now would be accomplished. And then, is PLN also ready for what if scenario? If, for example, uncertain and unpredictable condition happen and hamper the realization of the plan, it will be great if you can explain the risk mitigation for that one. Thank you so much, Pak.
Thank you, Ibu Maria. I will try to answer your questions, and I think it's very, very good questions. And also, uh, of course, we consider also this kind of problem because I think in making the infrastructures become realizations, there is three steps. The first one is the planning side. If you didn't plan for the future for the next day, I think it will only traditional way. And the second one is financial problems. So, and the third one is execution. So there's three types, three kind of stage. This is the planning. We already make the ambitious planning. We make the, I think, ideal planning, and also uh, the second one is how we can fund this project, all of the project in terms of REPTL. And the third one, how we can realize with the execution side, because that three stage is very, very important, because you have the money, you can execute the project, but you don't have the plan. You can then you can do nothing. So I think the three kind of is very important. And in RBTL, we also consider the risk. Uh, RBTL consists of seven chapters. One of them is the last one is talking more about the risk, and also the I think the I believe the chapter six is about the financial, and the chapter seven is about the risk, including the risk mitigation. Now, for the financial problems, PLN realized that PLN itself or also the government can cannot build all the infrastructure. It's very huge huge project. It needs very, very a lot of money, a lot of investment, a lot of cost in the next 10 years. That's why maybe I can share you that we need around 3,000 trillion rupiah if you want to realize all of the project with whether it's transmission, generation, the distribution, and also the generation. But we the 3,000 the 3,000 trillion rupiah consists of PLN and also IPPs. So around 70% will be developed by the independent power producer for the generations, and the rest, around 30% by PLN, by the government. Because we also realize that we cannot do it alone. We need many support so that support the development of electricity infrastructure in Indonesia, especially for generation. That's why we we try to find the many funding resources from many investors, from the bank, for example, the global bond, the green bond, and many funding scenarios that will have benefits both for PLN both and for investors. And PLN also cannot. You can see that we have more than around 70 gigawatt generation projects. It's very huge book, because I mentioned in the previous, until 2023, we have 70 around 72 gigawatt that is accomplished since we are Independence Day in 2000 in 100 1945. So we will double in the next 10 years. It's very huge for me. But we believe that with the support of many stakeholders, including the financial investors, bank, and worldwide, that will develop the infrastructure in Indonesia. That's why we need very a very what we call it, out of the box scenarios. We cannot do it by the business as usual. For example, if we have the money, the fund, then we also will face the challenging in how we can execute this large of project. In terms of procurement, for example, we will bundle the project because we have also the very small project and we can collect them into one big project. For example, that's why we can accelerate the development of renewable energy. We collect the project is allocated based on the ARED scenario, uh, uh, accelerated renewable energy development with coal phase down. That's the standpoint of PLN in terms of how we will develop the renewable energy and how we will treat the fossil fuel generation. We will choose the phase down, the generation from the coal, for example, because more than 60% until now is based on the coal-fired power plant in Indonesia. I think that's the strategy. I believe that it is maybe you can also that's your question how PLN can build these many projects. uh, it's very challenging for us, but I think we believe that with many support from many stakeholders, including the government, because we have not only financial challenge but also regulatory challenge. We have many ministry, we have many stakeholders that have to be managed, and sometimes the regulations is against each other. For example, in Ministry of Industry with the Ministry of Energy, that's why we need some kind of harmonization of regulations also, including the previous one about the nuclear power plant. I think I hope that answer your questions, but as PLN because PLN not only serve as government representation for uh, profit oriented, but also we have obligation to serve the public because we have the PSO, public service obligation that we have to obey. For example, we have to develop also in the rural area, in the remote area, in terms of project, in terms of investment, it's very high cost, but very low revenues. But we still have to divide our investment to electrify all of the nation. I think that is also the challenge for VN. I think
Okay.
it's different with private company, for example. We have because we have public service obligation also.
Just a quick follow-up question, but just a quick one.
Okay.
From PLN point of view, is it important to somehow involve customer or creating demand at this stage, or actually top down or supply side is more important to be managed rather than demand side? What's the point of view of PLN, but in this sense? Thank
Okay.
you.
I think in the next few years, both of them is very important because it is can affect each other. For example, I mentioned in the previous slides about the rooftop solar
Yes.
PV.
Oh,
Yes. For
yeah, yeah.
PLN, actually, it's act like the negative demand because it will decrease our sales of energy because consumer can build the rooftop and will reduce the use from PLN. It's very challenging because in terms of generation, we have IPPs. They have the KOP scenario, take or pay, that we have to fulfill, and I think it's very challenging also. So there's many challenging in each part of our business from the generation, transmission, and also distribution of customers. In the next few years, we will have many ecosystems like electrical vehicles because we will have many electrical vehicles. We also built many SPKNU charging infrastructure for the electrical vehicle. We developed many charging I believe in the next in the previous years already growth the growth is more than 200% because we can see many electrical vehicle right now currently in all of the streets in Indonesia, especially in the big city like Jakarta, Surabaya, Bandung. There's many so many electrical vehicles, especially from China. It's very cheap enough, and also it will increase the use of electricity from PLN. But another point is for the solar rooftop, for example, it acts like negative demand. So I think how PLN manage the supply side and also the demand side is very important. We have to map up all of the potential because in some point it can be increasing the sales, the electricity sales, and in some point it will reduce the electricity sales. We have to calculate all of them in our system planning. I think that's the answer, Bu Maria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pak. Thank you. Looking forward to
Thank you. Thank you.
movement of PLN. Thank you, Pak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ibu Maria, for your questions, and also Pak Ricky for your response. I believe today's session is really, really insightful. We have a lot of insights about how the energy system in terms of the supply from both country, Japan and also Indonesia. So before we close the sessions with a very good conversations on this energy supply side, please allow us, the committee, to send our regards and also thanks to the contributions of our speaker today. We would like to give a certificate of appreciations first to Pak Ricky. Thank you so much for Pak Ricky for your contributions as a speaker, sharing with us about the energy supply side from Indonesia. Thank you so much, Bapak, for your time and contributions. And the second, we also would like to appreciate the informations from supply energy from Japanese side from the presentations of Professor Tomoko Iwata. So thank you so much for both our great speaker today. Could you please give a reaction button for our speaker, for Pak Ricky, and also Prof. Iwata, and as well the teaching assistant team from the SIT. Thank you for responding to the questions. So I know everybody that we are a little bit past from our schedule, but just a quick reminder for the participant. We would like to remind you to please complete your TWIL form, and also you can submit the TWIL form to the Google Drive that's shared by the committee. So committee, perhaps you can drop again the informations for our participants to submit their TWIL form after they complete it at the end of the day today. So, dear all of the speakers, professors, and participants, thank you so much one more time. This sessions today is really insightful, and we have a very fruitful discussions today about the energy system on the supply side. So for next meeting, we're gonna hear about the other informations on the demand side, also from both country, Japan and Indonesia. So thank you so much everyone for attending. For our speaker, Pak Ricky, thank you, Prof. Iwata, and also Professor from Neon University and also SIT. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
We're gonna meet again next Friday, and have a good day and also good rest for for you on the weekend. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Bu Maria, Prof. Iwata. Thank you
Thank you
all
very
the
much.
participants. Thank you so much.
Thank
Much.
you.
See
Bye.
you. Yeah, see you. Bye.
Thank you, Bariki. Thank you, Prof. Thank you
See you, Bu.
all. Bye.